I know nobody's here, so it doesn't matter who I'm talking to. But since this is going to be uploaded later, I figured I would still talk to myself. So this is my morning ritual of doing some chores around the house. I have time while I get my daily joint rolled up. I'm just here to talk about life. This is a tincture with CBD. CBD helps with the entourage effect when consuming THC. Think of the entourage effect as your crew of besties, hanging out with THC. And if THC doesn't have their crew of besties to make sure that the vibe stays cool, then THC might take over and domineer things. And you could get in your head about things. You could get paranoid, scared, jittery, all these unpleasant things, whatever. So there's the entourage effect, things like CBD, CBG, CBN. They're there to enable a smooth ride. And they don't let the bad stuff come in, like a bouncer at a club. Anxiety, heart racing, things like that. Yeah, we don't want it, right? We don't like it. So we have CBD, CBG, CBN that are there to kind of lift up the THC, like a cheerleader doing like a triangle as like towers, Anyway. I don't know. Rolling some weed, thinking about life. Hey, there's a person here. Hi. How are you? Random stranger that's watching me. So normally I roll my weed, if I'm hanging out with friends or something, I'll roll it. I'm a slow roller. So I take my sweet ass time rolling my shit because I want to know how my friends' days are. So since I don't have anyone here, I'm out in the wilderness. Why don't we let you be my surrogate friends and tell me how you are? I'm here to listen. I'm here to witness. Or to just talk at you until you forget how shit the world is right now. I know it's hard. I don't know who's paying attention to this or needs to hear it, but it's dark out there in the world. And there's a lot of anger and hate and othering and fear. Fear for the future, fear for the present, fear for the past, mourning the past, lamenting the past, wishing we had gone back to old ways, things like that. It's hard. But we don't have to sink into despair all the time. We don't have to stay there either. And I know it's easy to say, what the fuck do you know? You're a total stranger. But I've been through some shit. Probably more than you would believe. But I think a lot of people have. This marijuana is from the native reservation. It is a lovely reservation, native marijuana made, with the whole plant in mind rather than just, oh, let's get high, What's that song? Can you take me higher? Hi, hello friends. I'm rolling myself some marijuana. Can it make me higher? 'Cause the world is falling apart. I wanna get higher so I can forget this shite. I don't know. This world sucks, right? So, how do we navigate a world that sucks? Yeah, I'm getting high. Not there yet, though. Do you want to talk about your day? How you doing, Colonel Fako Splatoon 3? Never played Splatoon, but I've played Super Smash Brothers against people who were playing as Splatoon characters. I was gonna go to work, but then I got high. I was gonna pay my child support, but then I got high. You know what's funny about Afro Man? That guy got raided a few years ago by the police or the FBI or whatever. They claimed that he had hostage victims or whatever, and like he didn't have shit. He just had weed, and he had recorded it, and he wrote some songs about that, which I definitely recommend. There's one called Lemon Pound Cake, which is in the style of Under the Boardwalk. Mama's lemon pound cake, it tastes so nice. The sheriff deputy made the sheriff wanna put down his gun and cut him a slice. Yeah, so this deputy like stole his lemon pound cake. They busted it in his door just because they don't like, people of color being successful, I guess, because little history lesson for you, all police are slave catchers originally. They were hired or created to catch enslaved people. The cops aren't your friend. They're your friend if you're a white billionaire, maybe. Mama's lemon pie. Let's see. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun under the boardwalk. Dancing along under the boardwalk. Almost heaven. West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, flowing like the breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. How can we make that into, let's see, hurry up, Shrike, roll that J fast. You're too slow, bitch. I wanna just get high. Smoke me up or just walk away. But don't dangle that weed in front of my stupid face. Smoke me up quickly, 'cause I'm fiending for some green marijuana. It's not medicine if you treat it like a tool. I don't know, escapism? Fuck. I hear 10 minutes of absolute nothing. I've been feeling like a piece of rice paper. I think I'll move to an island, turning a vapor. Scooter on a cocktail. Fish all day just to fill up the grill. Spend the mornings making chocolate milk and Eggos. My days at the beach, my nights stepping on Legos. Wave to the world, screaming hasta luego. Everybody back home will say, where the hell did they go? And hop in my boat, throw the paddle away. I'll put my heart up to the break and the sway. Wake up every day in the sun. Take off my flip-flops and go for a run. Hop on the scooter, go down to the store. People say, are you him? I'll say, not anymore. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, older than the mountains, blowing like the breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place. Oh, hi. You're one singular person watching me sing to myself while I roll weed. How goes it? I hear their voices in the morning hour. She calls me. Lady, oh, reminds me of my home far away. Heading down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads, take me home to the place I belong. Yeah, I don't know. I was born by the river in a little tent. And oh, just like the river, I've been running ever since. Where's my papers? It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody always telling me, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Hi. I'm trying to get high. Hi. Trying. Well, succeeding slowly. Not quite there yet. Any recommendations on songs to sing while I waste your time? Let's see. Smoke 2 joints in the morning. Smoke 2 joints at night. Smoke 2 joints in the afternoon. It makes me feel alright. I smoke 2 joints in time of peace and 2 in time of war. You might be going to war, huh? World War III, bitch. Smoke 2 joints before I smoke 2 joints, and then I smoke 2 more. How do y'all feel about the current state of the world? You guys feeling pretty positive about your outlook on life? I'm here to support you. Consider me your little stoner fairy, encouraging you to make good decisions, which may or may not include marijuana, because I am not a pusher. I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm that N-word in the alley. I'm your doctor when you need, want some smoke, coke, blah. Want some coke, have some weed. You know me, I'm your friend. Na, na, na. I'm your pusher man. Curtis Mayfield, anybody? Hi, Eric Chan. Konnichiwa, unless it's Chinese, in which case, oh shit, how did I say it? Fuck. Ni hao. Konnichiwa, ni hao, annyeonghaseyo, whatever the fuck, I don't know. Hello. There's 11 people watching me right now while I roll a fucking joint. This is insane. You guys are nuts. Get a job. Get a life. I was gonna go to work, but then I got high. I was gonna pay my child support, but then I got high. Oh my god, the resin is getting everywhere, and it's sticking to the lint, and it's getting cat hair in my joint, and I don't like that. Guys, you're watching me struggle immensely. I hope you enjoy it. It's 11 p.m. where you are? Hello, someone in Cyrillic. I cannot read Cyrillic. Prost. Das vidanya. Whatever. I don't know. Privyet. Is that it? Privyet? Privyet. What's up? Konnichiwa. Ni hao. Annyeonghaseyo. Privyet. L'chaim. No, that's not it. That's, oh, fuck. I don't even know. I'm a bad Jew. I'm a bad Jew. Zionists hate me. I'm a bad Jew, then Zionists hate me because I don't like Israel, even though I'm Israeli. We're Yemeni. We are Yemeni, and people in Israel who are living in Israel are complicit in genocide, in case you were wondering. My biological brother is going to see our biological father in Israel on Sunday, and I think that's a bad look, going to Israel during a genocide. Chilling on the beach, having, like, you know, picnic while people starve to death. I don't really care what you think about one side or the other, but it's kind of a bad look when you're having a picnic and eating and there's people starving right next door. The same brother that refused to help me while I was homeless because he didn't want to enable my homelessness. The only substance I do is marijuana. I barely drink. I'm 37. I'm old enough to. I don't make my problems other people's problems, really. But, you know, let's just go to Israel where there's a genocide happening, but fuck my sister, who I've known my whole life, right? Let's go meet a genocidal biological dad who was in jail our whole life. That's cool. That's cool. You've never tried marijuana? Okay, buddy. It's fine. I was talking earlier about the entourage effect. A lot of marijuana nowadays is just they want you to get higher and higher and not really, you know, integrate what the fuck you're doing while you're getting high. Why is this such a shitty joint? Anyway, who gives a shit? Who gives? But yeah, it's I don't know how old you are, so I'm not going to tell you go smoke weed. And anyone that tells you that you should or shouldn't try anything, I think maybe has substance abuse problems and wants to, you know, make your own informed decisions. If you're old enough and it's legal where you are, it's illegal in China. Okay. Yeah, I figured that much. Honestly, I get it. I'm sure it's not impossible to find. It's not like Indonesia where they'll, like, fucking cane you. I believe it's Indonesia or the Philippines. There's somewhere in the Eastern Asia where they'll, like, fucking beat you to death if they catch you with marijuana, but I don't know how China is, and I'm not here to speak on the Chinese government, although I do love the Chinese people. But so it is. Man, what a weird environment YouTube is, huh? Over in Gilani, I've been spending all my money on weed and pills, trying to write a song that'll pay the bills, but it ain't came yet, so guess I'll have to rob a bank. I guess it could be worse, it ain't that bad, at least I ain't sitting in old Baghdad in the middle of a hot damn desert, sitting in a tank. Well, in time I talk to baby gets mentioned, I'm so broke I can't pay attention. Lord, how it tears me up to see her cry. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm done with that. Oh, I've been spending all my nights on the internet, looking for a good and I won't get it. Well, now, Lord, if you could hear me, won't you throw a damn dog a bone? As if the devil shows up with a better deal, the soul goes going down. Well, I sing it real pretty, sing it real sad, and all the people in the crowd say it ain't that bad. Hi. Who the fuck are you? Just kidding. I don't know who you are. You're a stranger. But hello. Tell me about your day in singular viewer. Oh, hi. Scenery over there looks really good. Yes, hello, Eric. I am in upstate New York. I am in, so New York is in the northeastern part of, I'm sure you're aware, in the United States. But I am closer to Canada than I am to the rest of the contiguous United States. Eric, have you been outside of China before? Or is China the only country that you have explored? My favorite Chinese food is mapo tofu. A lot of people in America think that it's a vegetarian dish. Even though tofu wasn't invented for vegetarians. Whatever. China's awesome. It gave us a lot of fucking really good things like noodles. And we wouldn't have spaghetti or pasta without noodles. Even ramen, right? The Chinese word is lamian. Lamian? I don't know how my pronunciation is. Lamian. Lamian? Lamian? Ramen. In Japanese. Ramen. Lamian. Kind of sounds the same when you think about it. I learned recently from someone who's Portuguese that arigato, thank you in Japanese, is actually derived, it's a loan word from Portuguese, obrigado. And when you think about it, it makes total sense. Obrigado, arigato. Sounds very similar. The Portuguese also traveled to Japan for trade. Really good TV show I recommend is Shogun on Hulu or FX or whatever the fuck. Very good show. Anyhow, fun facts. My pronunciation was close. I hope that's true. I'm obsessed with languages, but I don't know any other languages. I know a few words in a lot of languages, but not a lot in few languages. Anyhow, I didn't have a plan for this when I came online, so I'm just figured I'd hang out and talk while I do my morning, afternoon weed thing. I can't explain what this feels like to someone who's never experienced it. I guess the closest thing I could think of is if you've ever had a fever and you felt a little loopy from the fever or a little sluggish, and like your thoughts felt a little bit untethered from, you know, normal everyday thoughts, I guess being high on marijuana is similar to that feverish head space, without feeling like shit. It can feel like shit. It can. It depends on your state of mind, I suppose. Sure, I would love to. Yeah, are we talking about like the assassination that happened? Because we could talk about that. We could talk about what that means for American politics in the future. We can talk about capitalism as a whole. China and the United States have a very interesting relationship as far as trade is concerned. The Chinese government way of doing trade and the United States way of doing trade are both very interesting things to observe and witness. Is there something specific, Eric, you would like to talk about? It's interesting because China is considered a communist country, but it's really not, right? Or it had been at one point. Truly not a communist country, though. I would say the closest thing for my political affiliation would be an anarchist by anyone else's standard. I don't, I have in the past registered as Republican. Sorry, whoa, geez. I have in the past registered as Democrat when I had voted, but things change. And as I grew up, I realized that the two-party affiliation is just a distraction to help people other each other, while the Democrats and the Republicans in power fleece us as the average citizen. It's smoke and mirrors. It doesn't matter whether you are a Republican or a Democrat anymore, because they were both robbing you blind. One does it in front of your face and the other one does it behind your back and makes you think that it was a good idea. It doesn't matter. I would love to ask you about China, actually. Is it still considered communist by whatever, just, is it still considered like the Communist Party of China, like the, or something? Because I would love to talk about how communism in execution and communism in theory are completely different things. But I want to make sure I have my facts straight. Anyhow, and just about censorship and stuff, I wonder about what kind of, you know, how you guys navigate state censorship. But it happens here too. Different. You know what a hydra is? Like a hydra, like the beast from mythology. It's like a dragon, and you cut off its head, and then another one, like two more sprout out, and then you cut off those two heads, and then four sprout out. Power is like that. Dominance, colonialism is like that. It's like a hydra. It doesn't matter whether you label it communism, whether you label it socialism, whether you label it Democrat, Republican. Those are just names, that's just semantics. But when we get down to the nitty-gritty of it, how is it done in execution? How is it being observed in action rather than in theory? Because that's where the real meat of it is. And if you really look at it, does it have your best interest? If you're a billionaire, maybe. They want you to think maybe someday you could become a billionaire. But how do you get to be a billionaire? You step on the backs of others, and then you pull the ladder up from under you. Doesn't matter whether it's in a communist country or a democratic country or a socialist country, because none of them actually operate in the way that they should, other than capitalism, which its only, and colonialism, which are the same thing. Its only goal is to grow, expand, spread. How do you do that? You have to take things in order to grow and expand, because there's already people existing there. So you corner the market, you push out the competition, you build capital, and profit, profit, profit. And all you care about is profit. They fire a CEO if they don't make record-breaking profits year over year. They want to increase exponentially their profits, but is that necessary? Why not just self-sustainability? it's not sustainable. It consumes, it devours, it wants to dominate. So capitalism is a cancer, literally by the definition. It consumes, it dominates, it wants to take over. Okay, I'm reading now, sorry. Some terrible things happened in China in the past, politically. Many Chinese people like the American political system, but recently American politics also, I see. Okay, so we're talking about my friend Chris. It was always authoritarianism. We just hid it better in the United States. The enemy of the system is intellect, is gnosis. Gnosis is like to know oneself, to know the universe, to know reality, the pursuit of knowledge. That's why the education system and the creative arts are being targeted always. Only state-sanctioned creativity is accepted. Only state-sanctioned music is accepted. Only state-sanctioned movies are accepted. A lot of the stuff that America makes as far as movies is heavily dependent on China and has always been heavily dependent on China because the Chinese population consumes a lot of Western media. They're more focused on the consumers overseas, actually, than they are with the consumers in America because they got us under their boot. So when you wonder why hasn't that book that I really loved been made into a movie, it's probably because no one that has money wants to see it done, or no one that plans on making money expects to make money back. They don't make things for the love of it. They make things for the profit of it, for the appeal of it, for the way they could suck you in to their narrative. What is the difference between a Marvel movie telling you about heroes and villains than reading, the Bible or the Quran or I can't think of, I don't know, the Tibetan Book of the Dead or something. I can't think of any Eastern books that would be like the Bible other than like, there's sutras, there's, anyway, even Buddhists have been evil. It's not the thing itself, it's the way it's being utilized. It's not the tool or the weapon, it's the extension of the person wielding it. If, you see the militarized place that we have in America, I mean, what's the difference between America and North Korea? North Korea just doesn't want us to see what's going on. They have it all curated. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Evil thrives in isolation. They want you ignorant like cattle. There's a concept, metaphorically, but also literally, called the Judas goat. Judas was a person who betrayed Jesus in the Bible, if you don't know. But the Judas goat is a goat that farmers will have, this one animal that will lead, let's say sheep, for example. It will lead the sheep to where they need to go to be slaughtered. And all of these sheep follow the goat. They go on to the place to be taken away to be slaughtered, and the goat survives. The goat is spared. That is why it's called a Judas goat. It betrays its own kind, livestock, in order to be perpetuating the system that kills these animals. It's the same concept as like a house slave when white slave owners enslaved people and pitted them against each other and would give some enslaved people more privileges than others so that the privileged enslaved people would bring the boot down on the necks of their own peers. The same thing happens when it comes to what you see on TV, the kind of media that you consume. It's subtly programming you. It's subtle propaganda that makes you believe that as long as you're safe and comfortable, you will let other people feel uncomfortable all you want. And they want us not to have empathy, which empathy has been a word that's been buzzing around a lot because of that certain assassination. Empathy is vital to making sure that the world exists in a harmonious way and actually just exists. We're gonna kill each other off if we're not careful. So where do we start? We start by like being curious, encouraging curiosity in other people. I don't know. Yes, I am an artist. Yeah. I don't really have anything to show you right now on me, but I paint, I sing, I write, I do poetry. Just stay creative, my friend. You'd be surprised. We have the illusion of freedom of speech, but freedom of speech and freedom of consequences are also a very different thing. There's a lot of consequences for your speech, and there's a lot of censorship that happens that won't allow your free speech to even get to the audience that you want. I mean, look at this right now. You and I are having a great conversation, maybe. I mean, not a conversation, I'm kind of talking at you. But we're having an engagement talking about things that I think are very necessary, and you're the only viewer on my video right now. And I think this is an important conversation to have, but for one reason or another, these kind of important conversations don't always have the reach that they need. And so that in and of itself is a form of censorship or erasure. How old are you, Eric, if you don't mind me asking? Are you young? Are you older? I think, I don't know. We need to encourage curiosity. There's a lot of cool animals out here, too. I wish you could see it. Maybe someday, Eric, but I wouldn't recommend coming to America anytime soon. Born in the 2000s. Okay. So you're in your 20s. Very cool. Very cool. So you're old enough to know how the world works in a realistic manner rather than just this Pollyanna or pessimistic view. 24. That's a great time to be alive as far as age. You're at the prime of your life. Your prefrontal cortex is finishing up being developed, and you are pretty much about to find out that you are the person that you are mostly going to be for the rest of your life. Not entirely, but you've maybe found your groove. And yeah, I don't know, Eric. Stay curious. Help change the world. If you can't change the world, change your world. You may or may not believe in God, but you yourself are the God of your own experienced reality. You cannot experience reality outside of yourself, nor can others experience yours. So, be kind to others. Be kind to yourself, especially because you cannot escape yourself. And remember that we all contain within us the God of our own realities. And with that comes both the blessings and the battles of that. So when someone doesn't want to be curious about you, it's because they're listening to the angry, vengeful God of their own reality saying, I'm more important than the God of your reality, which is you. So sometimes you can convince people otherwise, but you have to do it just by being yourself. And if they're mean or they don't like you, they can leave the proximity. That's my advice, at least. And if you can't, that's when we have to fight back. You know, it's this thing called a paradox of tolerance where, you know, like I'll poke you and poke you and poke you and poke you, and then you punch me in the face and I say, why did you do that? And it's like, you're abusive. It's like, no, I'm not an abusive person. You poked me and poked me and poked me, and then I finally said that's enough. So don't let anybody besides yourself tell you who you are. Not even me. Not God. Well, maybe God. Your God. I don't know. Don't listen to me. The fuck do I know? Oh, thanks. Thanks, Eric. I think I'm gonna get going, though. I should get my chores done for the day. I really enjoyed chatting. And yeah, see you around. Be well, be safe, be smart. Don't let fear take control. Listen, like the words of Dune, oddly enough, Dune has the best line I've ever used for myself as a mantra. Fear is the mind killer. You can face anything. Don't be afraid, especially don't be afraid of your own mind. Love you. Bye.